Well, coming up this weekend, a summer favorite returns to South Portland. Art in the Park has been around since 1980 and will feature original art and photography by up to 170 artists, as well as lots of food and lots of music.
And it's free to attend. We happen to have last year's Best in Show artist Thomas Mowry of TMD Studios, Maine, here with us to talk about this awesome event. Good morning, Thomas. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
And congratulations on your win last year.
Thank you. It was quite an honor.
Can you tell us more about your background in art and what you specialize in?
I paint in oils. I started late in life painting. I'm primarily a self-taught artist. I do have some instruction, formal instruction. But at some point, all artists were all self-taught. It gets to a point. I just had wanted to start drawing at some point. You know, you have a journey through life, things go on. Thought I could do something more with it. I was actually painting for a while, then life gets in the way and affairs. I made a commitment 4 years ago to paint every morning. So every morning I get up, I walk, come back from my walk. This is at 3:30 in the morning I get up. So I'm up like you
you're
guys.
right there with us, yes.
Yeah, you guys are sometimes in the studio with me on the TV. So you know, and I start painting at 4:30, and I try to paint an hour or so every day because that's how you do it. You just start, and sometimes I have hundreds of bad paintings, and I have maybe 100 good paintings. So that's part of my journey, and I paint landscapes. I try to paint the other part of Maine that we have so much focus on coast and lobster boats, which is all important. I try to paint the marshes, the rivers, the waterfalls of Maine. It's such a big tapestry that in the state we live in, and I don't think sometimes people think beyond the coast. I know when ESPN did the thing with Cooper Flag, they had a lobster shack. Like that's what we're about. Newport, Maine doesn't necessarily have a lobster shack, right? But that's the image that people have. So I try to expand that image for people. And ultimately, I try to make something that's gonna make somebody smile. That'll bring a little peace to their day, give them some zen, something that they can live with on their wall, if that's what they want.
How did you get involved with the Art in the Park?
I was looking around after about 6 months of painting every day, and I was like, okay, I can do this, and wanting to do something. I just started looking for shows, and Art in the Park, I was familiar with it. We used to go ourselves, my wife and I, we bought plenty of paintings from artists there. And I looked into it, and for me, it checked some boxes. It was local. There's no jury to get in. It's just you pay a fee, you follow the rules, you get a 10 by 10 tent like everybody else does, and you set up. So I have the selection to get in there and to go in. I don't know if at the time I would have had the courage to go to a juried show at that point, to have people judge what my output was going to be. So I gave it a try, and the first year that I was there, I was surprised. I sold 6. I was very successful.
Wow.
And I have one couple that come back every year. They've been, this is my 4th year. I'm hoping I see them again. The second year they came to see me, that's when I really knew that I had, beyond, Best in Show is a wonderful honor, but them driving back 6 hours from Rogues Bluff to make sure that they made the show. They got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, came down from Rogues Bluff where they've been camping all week, just to see if they didn't know if I was gonna be there, but the hope that I was gonna be there, I was like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
I've connected with people. So for me, it's that connection and being able to connect with the patrons. It's that directness. There's no gallery in a way. There's nobody else. It's just me and the folks who like my art.
Very special. Well, we do want to talk about your win last year.
Okay.
Just tell us about the moment and the piece and just your reaction.
Last year, I just wanted I took what was one of my larger pieces, but I wanted something that would stand out a little bit. So I had brought it over to the tent, and then usually I'm at the back and forth about which one I'm going to bring. I brought it to the tent, brought it over there, and I didn't expect nothing to happen from it. I'm just like, okay. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they just kind of come up and they slip a piece of paper on and said you won a prize. And then there were some other people came up, and they looked kind of like the people who had been in the judge's tent, poking around the tent, like, you know, looking at my art and things. It's very lovely, blah, blah, blah. And then they tell you need to be over there at 12 o'clock, and they still don't tell you what the prize is you won. And there was actually some confusion. There were 2 Toms. So I went back with thinking I had won a Meritorious Honor Award, which that was wonderful. I was like, hey, I got mentioned. And then they're yelling across Mill Creek Park, hey, come back, come back, come back. No, you were Best in Show. And I was like, oh, wow. So then I was a little flummoxed and flabbergasted about it, but I was like, wow. it's an honor to have your peers recognize you like that, and to get that professional recognition. And the piece itself is, it's a lot of it is post-impressionist, tonalism is my big. It's working in that same color palette where you're working just in the keys, high keys up and down. So a lot of yellow or green or whatever you're working in, and I just love the reflections in water, how trees reflect down, and you get that mirrored image in that moment, especially in the golden hour where you get the low light, you get the angles. And so I had done that. I did 3 pieces that week, all the same, but slightly different. And that one I thought was the best, and it went. And it actually ended up getting a couple in New Jersey bought it, and it's now hanging in their home. They bought it. They were there looking for a place. They were redoing their living room, and so they wanted a new piece of art. So I was like, God, this is perfect. You should buy this.
Let's talk about some of the art you brought today.
Okay.
And what inspired you to paint these?
I just love the one on the left. That's my new one this year. I love that. I love that moment of light, and especially on the marshes. You kind of, it's that early morning. You guys have seen early morning plant time, so you know what I mean. The early morning sunrise when it starts to come up, right? And it's not super bright, and it's very subtle, and you're just starting to get the world to reveal itself. And that's kind of one of the big tenets of tonalism, is to get people to engage. And that's why I like to do these pieces, because you have to look, and you have to kind of look in to see what is there and what it's going to reveal, and hopefully connect you back to nature. I don't want something that's going to be garish necessarily. That's just not my style. I want something that people just can connect with, and just remember that, you get off your phone. This is something you can look at, have your coffee with, and hopefully it can be a friend to you, because they're friends to me. They're all over my house. My wife would like them to go. She is the most patient woman in the world, because I often tell people there's paint on every light switch in our house. But to me, I just love painting these things. And sometimes I step back and I go, oh my God, I did that. And I'm shocked. I was just going through my pile this morning for some other stuff, because I'm kind of curating for the show this week. And paintings I haven't seen in months. And I thought at the time, I was like, I didn't get nothing with it. And I'm looking at it now going, wow, oh, well, I kind of surprised myself.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
Yeah, so, and that's part of the cycle. Every year I go through, I get rid of the things that probably have no value anymore. But yeah, these pieces, that one there is, that's the Nonsuch River as seen from Route 1 in Scarborough. Take the guardrail and the telephone poles out, and that one right there, yeah.
Amazing. And is there a website where people can find out more? And
well, I have a website, tmdstudiosmaine.com. I try to post. I'm not the best with that. It's one of these things when you are a painter and now you're a website manager and a customer service manager, and you're your own marketing person and your own business manager. So, plus I work. So I have a full-time job. At some point, I'll transition. This will become my full-time job.
All right. Well, we'll check it out. That's coming up Saturday from 9 to 4. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Maybe another win this year.